This is just a response to the video Windows Vista brought to you by the good people at the NSA. It is my understanding that there are many backdoors into Windows. This started mostly in about Windows 98, and when things started going on the net, people started noticing that these backdoors were there, and when these exploits were sort of posted on the internet, Microsoft would say that they'd patch them, and then they'd release a patch, and then they'd find another exploit, and they'd release a patch for that, and they'd find another exploit. And it just seemed like no matter how many times Microsoft would say we've solved the problem, we've put a patch in there, there would be another problem and another problem. So it seemed like, no matter how much Microsoft would try and tell you that they'd locked the doors so that they were secure, there would always be a hole there. Now, for a company like Microsoft, the biggest operating system producer in the world, to not be able to write an operating system that actually has proper security and doesn't have these flaws, to me that's just not possible. I mean, some people argue in Microsoft's favor and say that there's so many people involved in programming that they just can't get it right. Well, Linux got it right, and Apple seemed to have a good idea of how to do it, but Microsoft can't. And Linux and Apple, I mean, Apple has a 2% market share, so how can Apple get it right? And Windows, with the 98% lion's share, they can't get it right. And the reason for this is because, basically, if you know anything about government and the way that they're wanting to look into your stuff, I mean, this stuff is there by design. It's not there by accident, it's there by design. And the reason we know this is because all the cryptographic keys that exist inside Microsoft Windows, by law, have to have decryption levels of decryption ability in them. So basically, the government can instantaneously open any encrypted files which you've encrypted with the standard systems built into Windows, and it has to be this way because it's been designed that way. And they're quite open about the fact that these keys exist, which the government have, to enable them to decipher and decrypt your stuff straight away, which is why most hackers and most people involved in computer security, they won't use the built-in systems inside Windows to encrypt stuff, and they actually warn staff not to send stuff via those systems. The trouble is, if you decide to use your own cryptographic key system and you use a very high level of encryption, you can be called on by the government. They can call on you to actually give up those keys. Now, if you tell them that you don't know the keys because you've lost the keys, or that you refuse to give them the keys, this is actually an offence that can put you straight in prison for, I think, a minimum in the UK anyway, a minimum of 5 years. Now, I don't know if it's happened to anybody yet, but basically that's on the statute books. So what they're saying is that they want to have really secure systems, and look, we'll even give you encryption, but we have backdoors to be able to get into your system, and we've also got the keys to get anything out of your system that we want to, because we have all the keys. So basically, nothing in Windows is secure unless you use outside encryption systems. There's also stuff inside Windows which it's like what they call a phone home, and what it does is Microsoft Windows will give out a ping, and it'll actually send a command out through the network, through the internet, back to Microsoft. And if you block the port, you block the channel, the port that this goes through, then Windows will actually shut itself down or will crash. So basically, Windows has always got a sort of phone home. So if you're on the internet and you're just sitting there doing nothing, your machine is communicating back to Microsoft through this secret port channel, and if you disable that channel or block it, then Windows will fall over. So what they're saying by doing this is, if you've got a copy of Windows, you don't have the right to your privacy. You don't have the right to be on your own and not have data going out from your system. because we're going to send data out of your system whether you like it or not. And we all know how insecure Windows is, and basically the problems with Windows have got bigger with each operating system. So in Windows 98 there were problems. Windows 2000 and Windows XP, there were more problems. And you can bet your bottom dollar in Vista there are even more problems. So as the operating systems grow, the problems grow with them. So is this by accident or is this by design? Because I seem to remember planes getting bigger and more complicated, and yet they seem to be able to manage to do it. How can an operating system written by Microsoft not manage to do the same thing? How can it not develop on and get better and more secure? It actually gets worse. Why? Because they want to know what you're doing. They want to be able to spy on you. And because of digital rights management, and because of people copying movies and copying software, they feel they have a right to be able to know what you're doing. And if you're living in the United States as you are, and you know about total information awareness, I mean, your country is absolutely up. Yeah, you've got like the all-seeing eye on the back of your dollar. You've got the total information awareness, which is a big pyramid with an all-seeing eye on the top of it. Now, I mean, if you think that Microsoft Windows is going to be anything other than just Big Brother on your desktop, I think that's basically what it is. It's just it's a way to get inside your house and to give out your innermost thoughts and your innermost secrets and to feed them back to the people in government when they want them. And they can do things. They can turn on your webcam. They can turn on a microphone and listen to what's going on inside your house. They can do this. It's been shown that this can be done by hackers like Cult of the Dead Cow, who released software which could be put on a machine remotely, and could do all sorts of things. You could open and close the drive doors or your CD drive. You could print stuff out in the printer. You could switch on the cameras. And they were capturing people, having sex in a room with their webcams by getting in through these back doors, which are in Microsoft Windows software, and it allows them to switch these things on and spy on you, And this is what the government wants. This is what they want. They want this ability to be able to do these things, and that's why these back doors are there, and that's why it's so easy to achieve these things. And you've just got to bear in mind that if you've got a computer and you're doing anything untowards, the chances are that somebody out there could find out about that. If they wanted to, they could get in and they could find out, and this is why so many people are getting in trouble for what they're downloading, and the types of activities they're up to. I mean, it's relatively easy for somebody in law enforcement connected with the intelligence services to actually go in and look at what people are doing. And then they'll create some sort of reason. They'll pass it down the line, and they'll say, "Oh, we just happened to be looking at something else, and we noticed this type of activity." And they know exactly what's going on. They're inside people's machines all the time. They're watching the data, and they're also recording the emails. All the emails now in the UK are stored. They have to be stored for 7 years by law. Text messages. The other day in the news, they were saying about putting. In British Telecom and Vodafone, which are two of the biggest telephone and mobile providers, they've now got black boxes, and they're spending something like £30 billion for GCHQ to be able to spy on all data traffic going through these computer systems in a more efficient way. They want to take it from the level they've got it now to a whole new level of being able to spy on people. And you think that the operating systems are not going to be compliant with that? They've been designed for that. They're spending all this money to suddenly put all the spying equipment in the exchanges. The operating system is going to be designed to work with that, to make it easier for them to spy on you. That's the whole point. They tell you, have Windows Vista. It's not because they want to give you a nicer operating system. It's because they want more backdoors in it so they can spy on you more. So be careful what you do on your computers.